And here we are. We are live. Sup, Shredders. My name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP live streams number 16, where today, well, it's not the 16th live stream, but it's the 16th of these paid requests where we, for just $5 USD, you can send a track through and I'll listen to it. And I'll review it and we'll check it out together. And if we switch over here, we have the animation of the doggies on the screen. We're going to be looking at some music news to start things off. I am also going to open up the chat log here. Here we go. Maybe we'll make that queue a bit smaller, eh? Open up Spotify. What do we want to drop that down to? We need like a permanent kind of fixture, don't we? And we'll kind of have that guy go down until the bottom of that. And that'll niche it nicely. There we go. Just going to open up requests on Ko-fi now. So that should be all good. They are now open. So if you want to request a song, you can do that. Good morning, Shinyuda. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're all good. Welcome to the live stream. How is your morning going? I might have already asked that. I'm waking up. I've had a good morning, but it's been pretty intense. So I'm just kind of like wanting to kind of chill for a couple of hours with you guys. What have we got in music news? We'll just get into that at the start. Just in case we missed anything important from over the week. I don't really think we're missing. We'll just open these guys and just scroll through the news. Adele perform in pouring rain. Charlie XCX teases one more remix. Okay. Carlita, Major League, Fatboy Slim, and DJ Harvey lead Day Zero. Okay. So it's a live concert. Rob Schneider publicly apologized to Elle King for shortcomings as a father. Frozen hit Let It Go reaches RIAA Diamond status. Now, what is Diamond status nowadays? I have a question about Diamond status. I would like to know how that works. It is when a song reaches 10 million sales. So that within itself is pretty incredible. In a day and age where people typically will stream music as opposed to buying it, to have 10 million actual sales is incredibly impressive, for sure. Congratulations to them for doing so. You know, I do actually like Let It Go in post. You know, that was played a lot when it first came out, but I appreciate why it's successful. J Balvin reveals why he brought out Will Smith at Coachella after Oscars slap. Sam Asghari hopes Britney Spears' biopic will do justice by her legacy. That's cool. That's good, because I don't know if they're together or not still. I mean, either way, it's not my business, but like I hope if they are or they're not together, I hope they're doing okay. And they're both of them have found happiness. Because that's the least they deserve, right? Is happiness. Pretty sure I did Shinyuda's request for that. Yeah, I did. That's true. I did that. Got an itchy nose this morning. I know people have been told by my partner not to do that, but you gotta scratch your nose, right? Olivia Rodrigo admits some of her past relationships were a little questionable. Yeah, she made entire songs about them. She put those out on the internet. I think like questionable is an understatement, right? Clearly, there was some crazy stuff that went on in her songs. Demi Lovato opens up about guilt over her behavior as an egotistical child star. Yeah, when I was younger, I had a thing for Demi Lovato, like about 10 years ago or so. It's a shame. I mean, not that I find her unattractive nowadays, but it's like she went through some real stuff, man. I feel bad for her in a position. Sometimes when you get famous, it kind of really messes you up, right? I'm hoping, she finds some peace too now. There's been interesting movements from Disney to, well, she was at Disney, right? Yeah, Disney. It's tricky Because yeah, I mean, Miley Cyrus, after the stuff with Hannah Montana, she went through a real roller coaster trying to find herself. She wanted to separate herself from it completely, and then inevitably ended up doing some kind of wild stuff in the early 2010s. Wrecking Ball and stuff. Some interesting music for sure, but it was also a bit controversial. Not that controversial stuff is bad, but it was. I'm also acutely aware that it might seem like I'm fence sitting in certain situations. Maybe that's a little bit too much self-awareness, but it's like I think there's a lot of gray area on things, and trying to take a tour for a status can be kind of draining. We got Rolling Stone anyways now. Judge rules Nick Carter can't sue accuser for defamation. The truth is an absolute defense. Well, there you go. Demi Lovato says she might never tour again. That's fair. Hopefully they can just vibe and have a chill life. I think I would argue that a lot of these musicians have enough money to be able to not need to tour for the rest of their life and just be able to get by, right? I'd say if they want to tour again, arguably because they either wasted their money, or because they are bored, or because they enjoy it. But I don't feel like any musician that's successful should need to tour unless they want to. Unless it's stipulated in a contract, but then that would be pretty nightmarish. That's like a 360 or something like that, isn't it? Michael Rubin confirms his all-white party playlist was a Not Like Us free space, say space for... What? What? His all-white party playlist was a Not Like Us free safe space for Drake. Oh, crazy. So like he was super duper worried about the effect of having that song potentially play, that he avoided it completely. Tyler, the creator, has had it with weirdo fans of Addicts to Liberty's privacy. Casey Musgraves delivers Tender Too Good to Be True performance on Austin City Limits. Demi Lovato is remorseful. Yeah, okay. Join me on Kimmel's watching. Oh, that's kind of dope. This is something completely out of left field. What is this? I can't watch it because you need to subscribe. And again, to subscribe, it's that'd be about $14 a month NZD. I just think that like $14 a month to get access to one magazine. Surely they could make it more like 3 or 5, right? I understand that people need to get paid. But surely reducing it to a cheaper price that's not equivalent to like a Spotify subscription where you get like you got to be careful how you equate pricing like that, in my opinion, because, if you charge $8.95, that can be as much as some people pay for certain digital streaming platforms where they get access to billions of songs, millions if not billions of songs. How do you equate the value of that to a Rolling Stone subscription? Lado to serve up Sugar Honey Iced Tea across the country on full tour. All right, cool. Rhonda. Johnny Cash prayed to Jesus so he could sing with Nick Cave. Yeah, I mean that's interesting, I suppose. Arguably, depending on who you are. This is man. Katy Perry is just having the toughest time, man. Katy Perry's Lifetime's video faces investigation for potential environmental damage. The track is the second single off of Perry's upcoming album 143. So not only do we release a track which has been quite viciously panned by a lot of critics. It got like a 40 out of 100 on Metacritic or something like that, which is like that was not Katy Perry's. That was Kanye's most recent album got 40 out of 100. Having recently learned that allegedly the reason why Kanye West has been getting some kind of average output recently is allegedly because he has started taking nitrous oxide and has developed a bit of an addiction to it. Allegedly, as I understand it. I gotta be careful with that. It's been going through the Kanye subreddit. It could be all BS, but either way, it's a hell of a time. But yeah, honestly, like, I feel bad for Katy Perry. I think at this point, like, there's got to be room for the next generation, right? Katy Perry was incredibly successful. And it's such a shame that there's been this inherent need to continue and prolong it to an extent where we feel that we would be equivalent to a lot of the major label pushed artists of today. It's not that we're less quality. It's not that at all. Like, like clearly people did not like her most recent tracks, but the issue is that so much of music is so similar in quality now. Like everything is very close in regards to professional quality anymore. It's not like we're kind of um tiny little differences in actual perceived quality of like composition and stuff like that. Typically, you can be a little bit too safe with those, the way you write certain sections and play certain instrumental parts. But the main difference for a lot of pop music nowadays is specifically the story that they're telling combined with the way they sing. The only way, in my opinion, that really defines pop music nowadays in the major label districts is that you have a singer with a distinctive voice and they make a track and it'll sound a certain way where they're trying to sort of like toe the line between what is commercially relevant at that point. Like as per the country movement with like Justin Bieber and Beyonce and stuff like that making country tracks, country's become inherently successful, and then suddenly you see musicians who arguably haven't actually tampered with that kind of stuff suddenly getting into it. I don't think Post Malone is in the same boat as that, because Post Malone's been doing sort of like rock and country stuff for like a little while. They did stuff way before it was popular, arguably, But yeah, it's a shame. I think that you've got to allow space for room for the next generation, and Katy Perry. It's just a bit sad, really. She could have just enjoyed being as huge as she was, and I don't know, started a new hobby or something like that. It's not like they had this little bit to go to get where they wanted to be. They were one of the biggest musicians in the world. I just suppose when your identity is sort of kind of trapped with that, there are needs that need to be met, whether ego-based needs or commercial needs. Maybe your label is like, we don't want to sort of work with you anymore because you haven't been releasing stuff or whatever, and you're going to sort of like put the work in to get any sort of deal like this in the future. The Queen of Christmas is asking a federal judge to reject the copyright infringement lawsuit over her blockbuster holiday hit. See, I want to read this. This specific track here, All I Want for Christmas Is You. We could actually have a look at this. I'd be interested in this. So, like, let's see. All I Want for Christmas Is You. What similarities do we have? So we're going to listen to the first 30 seconds. I also want to mention something clearly. I understand that when people chat, and something was on my mind recently, when people put messages into YouTube chat, because I've enabled subtitles, it doesn't seem like I respond straight away. And that's not because I don't care about it. It's just that because I'm allowing subtitles onto the live stream, there is a delay where YouTube has to process that audio and then make it into subtitles. So if you leave a message and I don't respond to it straight away, it's literally just because I'm just talking, and it just takes a while to get YouTube to get that response to you. If we didn't have subtitles in the live streams, it'd be fine. But because we do, that's just the situation that follows. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come. Okay, then like Vince Vance, right? Okay. They're incredibly different. They're very different songs. This is an absolute joke. Take back the holly and mistletoe. Is this the one they're trying to say is the same? This is ridiculous. They are nothing alike. It's absolutely just completely superfluous. It's frivolous. How do you possibly compare this to the Mariah Carey version? That's actually really silly.
I wrote a letter.
Is everyone still awake from the nap? I think people have been sleeping, but also I think the audience for something like this, again, where there's just less demand to pay me to review a track and a live stream, and that's okay. It's what it is. If I was offering free requests, people would do that, because the moment you have to pay money for something, it becomes inconvenient unless the perceived value is greater than what you're spending. And my amount that I charge is $5, and that allows a track to be put forward, and we listen to it, and I give my thoughts on it. But I think it's less desirable to come to a live stream and have someone do that for a price than it is to go watch a video on YouTube for free. Like, there's certain musicians that, so it's always very sobering, because there are certain musicians that I will review on this channel, like Fujikaze, or recently Bandmade. So like Bandmade, I've been reviewing a couple of Bandmade songs, and recently people have been quite liking those. And so I think the YouTube algorithm is telling those people, hey, this person's reviewed another Bandmade song, and then they will go ahead and listen to that. They will watch that video. I don't know if YouTube is telling people to come to these, and even if they are, I don't know if it's not as like maybe relevant or as interesting as getting that sort of feedback on their favorite musicians. And the kind of feedback loop we have there is that for original musicians and artists, they may have a certain amount of exposure they feel is relevant, which is absolutely fair, right? It's relevant because, like, I think that it's tricky, because when you have like 1,000 people tell you that you're good at reviews, like across the last years on Fiverr, and then you often have people assume that the reviews will be not great, despite the information you're providing. And then what invariably occurs is, like, I had a situation recently where a musician I was working with tried to get me to release an album release. They wanted me to review their album and upload it before a certain date. I couldn't do that because CD Baby blocked the album. And they were unhappy about it, because in their viewpoint, the primary purpose of me listening through their album and reviewing it was for YouTube exposure. It was not about the review. In their mind, they were paying $100 USD for someone to put it on their YouTube channel. Then they were initially upset about the fact that they couldn't get their video put out. And what happened was they actually watched the video and were like, yeah, this is a good video. It's superb. I really appreciate this. But I think for a lot of people, the idea that when they look at a live stream, if it gets like 150 views and it's paid requests, they will look at that and go, okay, I want this for YouTube exposure, and that's not getting that many views. Therefore, it's not worth it. Even when I've literally had 1,000 people on Fiverr, because I've had over 1,100 5-star, reviews, ratings on it, tell me that the reviews are well worthwhile with plenty of repeat clients. It's an interesting situation. I think that with these live streams, I don't know how they're going to go, because I think there's like an initial amount of interest, and then it's just kind of like the same thing every time. And as a content creator on YouTube, I'm just kind of like poking around and figuring out what works. I know that if I was to release a review of a Bandmade track, it'd probably get a few thousand views. Probably the same with Fujikaze. Like, I want to do a review of Fujikaze stuff. And we tried out some subtitles yesterday. And I'm assuming that if I was to do a Beyond review a Beyond track, and actually have subtitles for that, it will probably do quite well, because it would have captions, and arguably it would do even better because there were captions in it. As captions have been the kind of one deciding factor that's caused a lot of issues in the past because people haven't been able to understand the content. I think with this here, a lot of my audience doesn't necessarily speak English anyways. And if they do, they're specifically inclined towards certain kinds of music. And it's just an interesting situation to be in. I went on a really long tangent there. But no matter how kind of because I'm still figuring that situation, that stuff I was talking about, but no matter how cooked you feel you are, just remember you're nowhere near as cooked as this person trying to charge Mariah Carey $20 million for a song that definitely isn't hers. It definitely isn't theirs. They're two different songs. It's very silly. There we are. Yeah. Hmm. See, 'cause this is the thing. I have like a YouTube channel with 14,000 subscribers, right? There's got to be a better way of utilizing this, right? Hi, Andres. How you doing? What do people want? What would people like? What kind of... You know what? Actually, you know what? I haven't asked this, right? If we were to dedicate a weekly video with subtitles, right? Because I can do those now. What kind of stuff would you want to watch? Just in general. Just in general. It doesn't even need to be like a review thing. What kind of stuff, if we could review any track, or listen through any track, or try and even figure out any track, right? What would you want to watch? What makes you want to watch people talk about music? I haven't asked that in a really long time. I think it's important to do so because if you take, I don't know, half an hour to figure that out, it saves you a lot of weeks and years. Because I don't know about you, but I don't give a shit about any of this stuff here. But they continue to make it, so I know that someone does, right? Because surely they would, if they wouldn't be releasing this unless people cared. Is it literally? It's just to keep up with what other musicians are doing, right? What makes people want to watch reviews? And this isn't like a pity party thing. This isn't a sad day or what. I'm just literally curious because I feel like. See, that's a good question, Andreas. That is a good question. So for me, it's specifically, this is the wildest thing, right? It's literally just single videos. It's literally just a video where I went through a track, we listened to it, and like the Bandmade stuff recently, the channel's growth has been accelerated by Bandmade. It's just we've had like double the amount of subscribers to the channel since I did the Bandmade videos because it's like a group of people that like it. They just want someone, maybe not necessarily to just react to it, but also to talk about it. And that's why I put another Bandmade video up the other day to test it, and there was a similar amount of interest in that. Like it's talking like I will put up a video on YouTube, and with even though I've got like X amount of subscribers and it is slowly going up over time, there's like, I think there's a midpoint where the content is changing and there are some people that are unsubscribing because the channel is changing. Like I think a lot of people initially subscribe for the Jay Chou stuff. I don't really do that anymore, partly because there's not a lot more else to do with Jay Chou, arguably. So now people are going, oh, okay, he's not talking about it anymore. There's all these other musicians I don't care about. Which is fine. They subscribe. They grow out of the content. But like, Bandmade is like a new thing. So for me, it's like, okay, this is a thing that actually works. Let's do more of that. But it's also like, I don't want to saturate the channel with just that, because then it just would be quite a lot of videos for people to watch. So that's why I'm thinking if I do, I don't know, I was even considering like a weekly, like 4 weekly videos per month, right? Where like I do a song per video and they have captions and they are in like simplified, Chinese and Japanese, because there are some Japanese subscribers as well. And then they are for like bands like, I don't know, a couple more for Bandmade. And then like maybe next month we could alternate and do like Beyond or something like that, where there's been interest in Beyond tracks. And then I go back and maybe I have a look at another big musician that brings in views on the channel. Because I suppose Occam's razor, the simplest solution, is to basically just try and find what people like and give them the thing. That's it, right? That's the simplest way of doing it. But I'm not everyone. So I also think it's good to talk to you guys about that. Especially some of you like Shinya and Andreas, who you've known me for a while, and yeah, I mean, like, it's something that I feel like people would appreciate, and just, fingers crossed, it's very difficult to fuck that up, right? If you just have a day, a day a week with subtitled content, and it's just easy thing to put forward, I think that'll be good. Okay. Who should we dedicate videos to next month? Because we can also like potentially include the videos. It will very much depend on who it is. Good morning, Elsie. The issue is that I need to be able to get these videos onto YouTube regardless of the I need to be able to get these videos on YouTube regardless of whether or not they monetize. The idea with these weekly videos is not for me to make money off of them. It's not, because I've never made money off of any of like the single reviews I've done aside from Patreon and donations and these requests, because all the money from these videos gets copyright claimed and goes to the musicians, and that's fine. But I'm thinking if we can just figure out a musician for September, dedicate four videos to them, weekly ones with subtitles, I think that'd be really healthy. I'm thinking Beyond. Beyond is one that people have asked about. One of the biggest videos on my channel is Beyond, and it's been a musician I've been meaning to work with for quite a while, so I might do that. Because that's the thing. With Patreon, there's like 3 or 4 videos a week, unless, of course, I kind of scuff my schedule and then I need to do more than that. But I think there is room if I do 3 or 4 Patreon videos a week, or even like 6 in a week. There's a 7th day, and that would be the weekly video anyways. I just want, because that also will show people that if, yeah. Sure thing, go for gold. Yeah, go for gold. Because the thing is, the alternative to getting feedback is to ignore it and just kind of not understand. Like, if I don't listen to people and, like, at least, like, consider what they're saying, you get apathy, which is when people don't care, which is worse. You know? The last thing you want is, here's the thing. The reason I kind of consider my YouTube channel to be dead is, apart from like the bandmate stuff, which is why it's like, okay, maybe it's just a content choice, right? The reason I kind of consider the YouTube channel to be dead is primarily because there's like, I have the Fiverr stuff, and that's, if I could do one video a day, that'd be good. But the Fiverr stuff helps me keep my lights on. It's not the only income, but it does help. They're unbiased reviews, you know. There's not like I go, hey, I'm getting paid, so I have to say nice stuff. This is why I've had like I've had arguments with people in the past about this the Fiverr stuff. By the way, hello. Who is this? It's Nushki. Hello. Nushki says hello. You say you're hot, you're shy now. I don't think you'll be able to be on my knee whilst I'm reviewing stuff. Yeah, she wants to though. There you go. So we're now. You wanna go there? Okay. Baby, you can't. Baby, you can't be in front of the camera. You can't be in front of the camera. You can't. You can't be in front of the camera. Hey. Yeah. Thank you, Andreas. I appreciate the request. I don't know about you guys, but I like to apply an analytical perspective to the way I do things. Because my emotions are a complete shit show. Feelings are not a great thing for me. I often buy into them too much. Analytically, you know, like it's about just making stuff that people enjoy, right? I think that if you try and push something past what it is, it can almost kind of ruin it. I also think that if I just kind of really committed to the Jay Chow stuff and not done stuff with like Zhang Yuxing or whatever, it would have been like a little bit silly, right? Because then it's just basically the equivalent of hello, you're back. Why are you here? I can't. I can't. You can't be doing. Okay, I can't be lower on the screen. I can't be lower on the screen, baby. I'm sorry. I know it's really annoying. Yeah, I've got my cat really wants to hang out. You've seen her tail. I know, Nushkushk. Kukio. Adyo. It's a nice way. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to. No, that's ridiculous. I can't do this. This is where she's comfortable. Like she'll go to sleep like this. Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I get it. Like that's fair constructive criticism. You know, you're not gonna stay up there anyways, Nushki. Nah, I'll take that. That's fair. I mean, like, I don't know if you guys are like know what it's like to be like an anxious person. My brain, whenever someone mentions the slightest bit of like, hey, can I give feedback? My brain automatically tries to calculate what that is because my brain is a fucking idiot. And it doesn't understand that you need to listen to the person before they give the feedback. See, that there is great feedback. Thank you. I think the live album reviews reactions were more interesting than the well-planned polished album reviews, maybe because we get to hear the songs as you review them. Yeah, interaction's great. I feel that. It's a situation where at the moment I need like 110k per year. New Zealand dollars, mind you, but at least 110k per year to be able to afford a house in New Zealand. That's pre-tax income, right? Which isn't a lot because the exchange rate's like 0.7 or something like that. But like, it's still not ideal. And that requires me to make sure that if I'm working 6 days a week, if I'm working those days, I have to be earning money for that. And that's part of why I started doing these requests. They're still a lot cheaper than most people do on YouTube. Like, I've seen requests from bigger channels which are like $35 to $40 per song. And to be fair, that's okay. If they have people interested in that, you know, more power to them, like free market capitalism, right? It's just for me, I have to get to that point because, yeah. Yeah. Andreas says, I think you need to segment your audiences and tailor the content for each. Also, some segments might overlap, so you could aim to those also. Yeah, absolutely. No, I take that as well. So basically, okay. I'm going to, on this screen, go Google Doc. I will do the review in a moment, don't worry. We're going to listen to videos. I just wanted to make sure I got the sense of this before we get into it, okay? Okay. So what I'm doing is just keeping a track of the feedback I get, if that's okay. I won't make this public a lot, but just so you guys know, I'm actually trying to like keep on track of this because, again, with YouTube, unless people comment, and to be fair, I've scared some people off in the past by being quite abrasive and kind of affronting. I especially when I first started getting bigger on YouTube, back when things were a bit busier, I was very much like, nah, rah, rah, rah. I didn't take it. Yeah, I mean, like, I think about this in a way where it's like, okay, objectively, live reactions, I completely understand what you're saying there. That makes sense to me too. And what Andreas is saying about segmenting audiences and tailoring the content for each. Yeah, so I think that it would be good to do weekly videos. I have issues with motivation. Like, my brain gets overwhelmed by doing stuff like this. Sometimes things seem incredibly difficult just to sort of even like function, but that's shit I gotta work in my own time, you know. In the meantime, if we do these weekly videos, it should be good. And I can make time for that. And that way, I mean, even whatever happens, at least the Fiverr people are happy. You guys are happy because there'll be weekly videos. And if you're a patron, you know, you get your patron videos. And then yeah. So it's just about making it up. And then when I get into a position, probably once I get the house, because it's looking like we might be able to get the house that I'm in potentially. I'm not going to talk about it more than that, of course, but if we can get the house, then I'll make a point of trying to do like album reviews at least once a month. That's what I'd like to do. But I'm not going to commit until we get there because I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. And I also want to, I've been doing this long enough to know better. Thank you, though, Andreas and Elsie, for your feedback. I truly appreciate it. And I also want to emphasize, I am incredibly lucky to be able to, not lucky, I'm privileged to be able to do the work I do. I graduated when I got my diploma in audio engineering and music production from a group of 30 people. And I was the only one. I am the only one out of the 30 that's doing anything with music. My company that I have has been running for 10 years, my tuition business. I'm incredibly privileged to be in a position where I get to work with music as a job, that I've been able to get through COVID, all sorts of stuff with the business that I didn't need to have it shut down. And I'm incredibly, and that also part of that is hard work and everything like that. And I've made a lot of the mistakes over the way, and I'm very privileged to be able to have the life that I have at this point. You know, I'm glad to have it. I don't always look like it because I have issues of mental health and stuff like that. But I'm not going to use that as an excuse. It's just literally that. No, it kind of puts a grey filter over stuff. But I think most people, to be fair, have issues with mental health, you know? It's just the way the world is nowadays. Thank you, Elsie and Andreas. We're going to get into the requests now, okay? I think we've got a plan of action anyways. And I think it'd be good for me to try and... Yeah, exactly. And Elsie... Oh, in the job hunt, hopefully things get better for you soon. Hopefully things improve for you soon as well, I'll see. Yeah, exactly. This is the kind of situation. You can be kind of worried about your stuff, but then you have people who are struggling to get work. And that sucks. A lot of people are in a kind of a crappy position, are all just trying to find a make our way through it, right? I wish you the best of luck with that, I'll see. Andreas's request now. What do we got? What Once Was by O Hiroshima. It's a gorgeous start to it though, isn't it? Fantastic. Sort of glimmers of those guitar lines on the side. Gorgeous little flurries on those guitars, right? That was fantastic. Thank you, Andres, for that track from an act named Oh Hiroshima, title Once Was, or Once Was, should I say. What was the song about? I'm not sure. I'm assuming it was talking about things that happened in the past or the state of things and how things maybe how things have changed there. There is almost kind of like these wisps of guitar parts that come in throughout there, and they're like memories kind of surging backwards and forwards there. It's a beautiful track there with lots of interesting sort of synth guitar, bass, and drum layers there. Really powerful grooves there on the drums there. Well, actually, powerful is the right word. Meaningful and I suppose poignant. The grooves of the 8s, quarters, and 16s on the kit are kind of dope there. I like the way that there was some interesting tremolo parts there on the gats on the sides there. And there's also these like synths and piano parts as well earlier on. Had an interesting sort of like mid-range there, which made them seem a little more sort of grounded and nostalgic. I mean, there's dynamic range to the drum parts there. You got those sort of buzz rolls and everything like that going on. And it has the pianos as well that go alongside the pick parts and the guitars quite neatly there with the bass underneath kind of niching everything together. There is actually a lot more range in this. You kind of get lost in it a little bit as you listen through it. When you compare the start of that, there's like little kind of like sub layers in the background, sort of like environmental factors going alongside the instrumental key part, going to the end there. But like the keys and guitars continue throughout there, but there's like distortion that has kind of grain to the drums there where things are being pushed in the limiter. And that journey, I suppose going upwards, is something that happens in quite a lot of instrumental music, but I think in here it's handled in a way that almost seems sort of nostalgic. Wait, we're talking, that's Catch-22, what am I talking about? I forgot that it went on to the next one. Here. Yeah, I thought so. I was like, why is there a piano in here? Am I tripping? Exactly. It was like kind of chimey guitars though, bass and drums. I feel like an idiot now. But like, yeah, no, it was gorgeous. Yeah, I was thinking, why is there piano? Why is there piano? I didn't hear a piano before. I felt like I was having sort of like early onset or something like that. Because we had the synths there, the kind of buzziness of the synths there, a kind of gritty sort of layer there alongside the choir parts. Okay, so I feel like I've almost got to listen through it again now. We had a mid-range section where things came up sort of dynamically there for a bit of extra added intensity there, almost like we were remembering things more vividly how they used to be. But things to kind of peter off at the end, almost as if we've just come to accept it. Thank you, Andres. I'm so sorry. I did listen through the track. I thought it was quite well done. It was sort of hypnotic. You lost in it. I kind of feel like... It was like the bass line and drums and guitar underneath were gorgeous there, with the consistency of some of those sort of pick notes there and the delays on them. With the bass line sort of churning underneath. And I think it was awesome. I'm really sorry. Not off to a good start. Man, I thought I slept better last night. The overall theme of it was complicated. There was a sense of sort of like a sense of these extensions with those progressions were kind of, I think it was trying to sort of communicate the difficulty we're going through sort of figuring everything out. The production quality was tight though. I do remember parts of the drums, and they sounded like a little bit like they'd definitely been recorded. They hadn't been quantized or sort of like sterilized or overproduced, and I kind of appreciated the fact that it just sounded like everyone playing in the same room. Basically, these are musicians where they're trying to capture the sort of rustic kind of warm, kind of cozy overall texture and tonality to it, whilst adding a lot of interesting sort of flickers of instrumental sections on top there, and it's actually very kind of like lovely to listen to. It had a sense of nostalgia for what once was, whilst indicating that there may have been more than met the eye. So that's my review of that. That is a more accurate review of that. Thank you, Andreas, for that. What have we got next? Let's hope that the next one is less of a dumpster fire. On my part, the track was fantastic. Garrett Hudson says, can I send in a song file? If you can send in a song file via Ko-fi, you can. Otherwise, I'm sorry, it will need to be via YouTube or Spotify's or anything else like that. The idea is that this is just meant to be like an easy way for us to sort of like play through these tracks and kind of listen through them. We've got a few more in the song though. And just Andreas, I'm sorry about that, man. I'll try and do better next time, okay? Let's have another go and see if we can figure this out. So the next one is from your request. Because there are 3 songs. Now, the first of which is this one. Let's try this. So this is the One Punch Man theme live. That's kind of cool. If we make that bigger, can we make that bigger? It's just that, right? Okay. There we go. That one. And that. Okay. Here we are. Let's go. Let's do it. Thank you, Shinyuda, for your request. It's always different watching these live, right? I wasn't aware that there were multiple vocalists. Are there different singers in the actual, like, original version? And the fantastic sort of like different sort of drum fills there. It must be pretty phenomenal to be on a stage in front of all those people singing like that. I mean, it's a fantastic outro with that incredible Satellite belt from that guy. They look like having such a great time with it, right? So thank you, Shinyuda, for that request. As the One Punch Man live Tell the Hero. So I'm gonna try and actually do a better job at reviewing that one. Okay, let's have a second go at this. I think that song it was the intro for One Punch Man, and I'm assuming that it's about someone wanting to be a superhero, right? The track had an incredible amount going on from the different vocal parts of the male and female singers, and they were singing over top of a track where there were guitar, bass, drums, and keys, as you guys heard, right? Some interesting synth patterns there. I think the structure of the track was fairly easy to follow along to. It had a really compelling intro with those lead guitar parts, the harmonies there, going into sort of quicker palm muted alternate parts later on. The bass line driving forward, keeping a great sense of pace with the chord progressions, but also the drum parts. The drum parts were phenomenal. There were some really interesting sort of top drum fills there where we kind of did a little working with those different sort of tom parts. And I think that the great sense of pace there, the ways that the singers had inflected their attitude throughout the entirety of the performance there, showing different angles there, a lot of charisma within the actual live performance was the steering wheel for the entire track, kept everything moving forward as the main focal point. Ultimately, a very satisfying track to listen to, in part because of that. I think by itself as an instrumental track, the flexibility of the different sort of rhythm guitar parts, the lead parts, the bends, and all the different charismatic main melodies were tight. I don't know if you guys can see that. I've got Nushka back on the... Yeah, hello? What's up? You, Tail. What you doing? You want to sit down? Okay, we're sitting down again. My cat's sitting down. I think the overall theme of the track there, the chord choices there, the power behind the distorted guitar with the bass and drums there, as well as the vibe of the vocals, the emphasis and passion of those, made you sort of want to get up and actually be a superhero. It was very sort of like, it was very energetic and inspiring. And when you combine that with a really tight instrumental performance there, with lots of play and a bit of edginess to the themes as well as some of the scale choices, you have a track which is altogether really exciting to listen to, with enough variety to keep it compelling within it. And it was awesome. The pads there provided a sense of wonderment in that mid-range and a bit of sparkle as well, which was cool. So yeah, satisfying listen. The studio recording, mixing, mastering was commercial grade. Enjoyed it. And it was nice to actually hear the singers sing. Bit of vocal fry there occasionally. It wasn't overproduced. So thank you, Shinyuda, for that first track there. I think now is a little bit better than the previous one. I've got to be careful next time for when Spotify moves to the next song, but also I just think we're a little bit out of it today. But the next track is from it's also from Shinyuda. So what do we have here? This next one is Uta Macross Submarine Street. So I'm not familiar with this one. I mean, I know One Punch Man. I know people didn't necessarily like the second season too much. The first season was pretty good. Or was it the third season? My cat's in front of the screen a moment a little bit, but I can still see it. Great vocal fry there as well from the singer. Really peppy guitar line on top. Thank you, Shinyuda. I appreciate that. Oh, and did you hear that little organ part going up there? That was dope. That was a great little rise there, eh? That was awesome. Does it have the ability to translate the subtitles into English? Oh, it auto translates. Oh my god, oh no. Come on. I just realized that it had English subtitles there, so we're gonna probably be playing the subtitles from this part now. I'm glad we caught that though, thank you. And shouldn't have the shakers on one side and the lead guitar on the other though. Moving those vocals side to side with the panning. That was fantastic. I enjoyed my time with that. Thank you, Shinyuda, for that second request. This was for Submarine Street by Nikki Basara. In this part of the storyline, the protagonist must wake up the sleeping enemy demon with a song to calm her down and stop the madness. And this video is a tribute to that storyline. That's interesting. That is genuinely interesting. Let me just process that for a moment. Wake up the sleeping enemy demon with a song to calm her down and stop the madness. So are they responsible for other people being mad when they wake up? Are they then going to... Are they going to be less mad? Are they trying to wake them up and then they'll be less mad when they wake up? Or the crazy when they wake up? Is that the kind of aim for it? I mean, either way, like if I look at this track... Yeah, it's sung really well. The story is kind of captivating. It reads kind of like a love story, like fate drawing near them on Submarine Street. It kind of sounds like a love song of some sort. Ow! Why are you biting me, Nushk? Be nice. Yeah, good deal. I think that the vocal style, they're a great singer, very charismatic. You know, very easy to listen to. Great controlling the hidden chest voice there. Lots of power behind it there, very easy to listen to, nice texture and tone to the voice. Sang really well on top of the really catchy, funky lead guitar lines. There was some interesting harmonies there, as well as the choirs on the sides there going between it, kind of adding a pad-like effect there. A lot of sweetness in there. The rhythm guitar parts we had alongside those really sort of catchy main melodies, were really palatable as well. there was like a little bit of edge, but not like a super massive amount of it. There was an enjoyable amount primarily because it was meant to be sort of like an uplifting, not nearly an uplifting part, but like it wasn't trying to be too down the dumps. It wasn't an angry song. It was like you were trying to have a kind of a cool sort of sense of a kind of like longing and kind of caring for that person. And I think ultimately it's a track where the guitar motif has handled well. The bass line underneath. Take care, Andreas. Have a fantastic day. Hopefully things go well for you in future. And thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. The bass line underneath it sort of kept things rolling really well, tied with the root notes. The bass is typically kind of going to follow nicely along with the guitar and drums, unless it's kind of what's in a good song is designed to do that. The drums, the groove on the hi-hats, drum kicks and snares and stuff like that. It's a great sort of drum groove with 8th and 16th note beats there. The pad parts there were satisfying. Now you don't lick yourself down there. Sorry. Here, come here. You good? You good? You're being distracting. You're being distracting, no. Ah, you're being grumpy. You behave yourself. Hey, behave yourself. Good girl. The keys, nice sort of pad-like effect in the background there. Organ, a little bit of glissando occasionally, sort of like rise or kind of bring things down. City recording, mixing, mastering was tight. Overall theme sounded hopeful for the future, and that we're going to get there in the end. Tight track. Thank you, Shinyuda, for that. Appreciate it. Okay. What else shall we have today? Battery. Okay, are we still in the middle? We are kind of in the middle here, right? Is that still okay? Yeah, it's okay. Cool. Back to this. This is an animation where the music and songs of the main character can purify the souls of enemies and bring peace. I get it. So this is like a song to purify the enemy. Thank you, Shinyuda. I appreciate that. The idea is to say the world music of the plot is a bit childish but dreamy. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a childish plot as long as it's fun, As long as people are having a good time with it. What have we got next? We have got a song from Dinner Hey. Please remember to turn on lyric translation. Thank you. I will do that this time. So what do we have next? Daybreaks, Bell, Liark, and Ciel. This is the next one on the list. Cool. Let's continue. Daybreaks, Bell, Liark, and Ciel. And just checking the translation of the lyrics. Japanese to English, so we do have translations here. Cool. I know this one. Okay, sick. Nice. Great track so far. Fantastic combination of guitar, bass, and drum elements there. Lots of personality to the vocal style there. It's distinct tone that sort of is eminent in a lot of music from this specific type of like J-rock. Very popular at the time. Oh, low keys on the start. That's kind of nice. Great bit of extra intensity there to sort of labour the point. Lyrics by Hyde, composer Ken. Okay, so that was Daybreak Spell, Lyark, NCL. Request. Thank you, Shinida, for that request there for that track too. What's this track about? There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on within it. It's very vivid with the story. My best guess is that they're going through kind of these sort of sordid, kind of unhappy situations, vividly described like the blood and the looking back at the wings and dreams being established or whatever. And you know, even this line, even my fate will be swallowed up and I'll sink into the sea, kind of implies that they're sort of drowning in their emotions, and they've got someone else they're kind of like chasing after, and they don't want to be left behind by it. Potentially, they want to be left behind by them. They're going through stuff, and they want to be with them, and they don't want to be left behind. That's my kind of impression of it. It's a great song. The singer's really comfortable. Solid vocal technique. Hidden chest voice nailed. Bit of vocal fry occasionally to add a bit of extra intensity to parts. You didn't really need more than that. They express themselves really effectively. It's tight. Great performance there. Great stage presence. Track itself at 4 minutes 17. It's filled with guitar, bass, drum, and key parts. The guitar parts there with interesting arpeggios and sort of rhythm guitar parts with crispy distortion there. With some lead lines intermingled, but typically it's more sort of like about the vocals and the focal point on that there. Some interesting key parts, accenting those triads there, working the right hand with those. So that kind of balladesque kind of format there where we'll go between like the left and right hands like that, which is kind of cool. The bass line, the underneath part, sort of supporting the keys and guitar in the lower range quite effectively, and the drums with some interesting sort of 16th 8 grooves. Like a lot of the comments, like honestly, like the drum parts were supportive of the guitar and bass. The vocals are the focal point throughout a lot of this. And they were like tom fills and everything like that, but that was mostly sort of like to split parts up and segment. And like it was mostly about establishing a core sort of motif that they stuck throughout most of it, with variations in those chord progressions, but a similar tonality, and the vocals were meant to sort of switch things up. It sounded like they were going through a bit of a struggle, I think, but I think primarily a lot of what people love about this is primarily, I think it's probably the singer, the romanticism with those piano parts, guitars, and stuff like that, and the image. Honestly, it really is this kind of like the image of like the band with like J-Rock was massive at that point in time. I think the studio recording, mixing, and mastering is tight as well. It's good stuff. Thank you, Shinyada, for that request. I appreciate it. I had a good time with it. I think that there's a sense of like loss and sort of fear within it, but not too much to a point where it becomes unpalatable or sort of like less likable because of it. It seems sincere, like they're really going through a time and they're trying to sort of make their way out of it. So yeah, what else do we have? We have another track after this. Who is it from? There's another one from Shinyada. Thank you. And who do we have here? We have... so this track here, it's Hikaru Utada, Beautiful World. So this is also from... hang on, that would be... This is from... I was expecting it to be from Dinnerhay, because Dinnerhay usually recommends stuff from Hikaru Utada, like in Patreon videos and stuff like that. But yeah, we have this. Haven't seen a live performance from Hikaru Utada in a while. Right. Thank you, Dinner. Blue Dinner Box. I appreciate that. So I assume there's some background vocalists or like a choir behind her that's doing this? Because that's like equally as loud as when she takes her mic away to when she puts it to her mouth. You can kind of hear the crowd in the background, can't you? That's dope. That was from Shinyuda. That was thank you for the request, Shinyuda. That was Hikaru Utada titled "Beautiful World." Utada came to Taiwan and gave a concert in Taipei on the 11th of the 8th. I assume that would be August the 11th. 25 years of pent-up emotions erupted at once, and I was really happy to be able to grab a ticket. Well, glad. Hopefully, it sounds like you enjoyed it. So that's awesome. That's really good. What do I think this track is about? I Yeah, so it is what I thought it was. I was trying to sort of like establish, I think this track is about someone who is sort of desperate to have that connection to the other person. Their beautiful world is made up of that beautiful person beside them in their life and their romance, their connection there, whatever kind of sort of connection they have there. It's beautiful. And I think that it's just really great to listen to. It's a story where I feel like it's very accessible and easy to kind of follow along with. I was almost afraid I was taking it too literally. But no, still a performance. Kaoru Utada's vocals are consistent across the board here. The vocals in the live recording are compressed quite a lot. So there's a similar dynamic consistency across the entirety of the track, which makes the vocals sound similar throughout a lot of it, regardless of whatever we do with the different vocal melodies or harmonies there. It's an incredibly tight mix. It's commercial grade there. I'm not surprised considering the level that Hikaru Utada is at this point in time. But I think that it's great to hear that they can sing live just as well in that situation as in the studio. Again, typical comments, great head chest voice there. Comfortable working with it niched well with the rest of the arrangement. I think that the piece overall, I don't necessarily know. Like the music sounded kind of pretty with the strings and the keys there and the drums and the bass and all that kind of stuff. And I think that instrumentally, performatively, it was very tight. There was a great chemistry between the musicians with Hikaru Utada. There was not a note out of place there. I don't know if it necessarily connected to the story beyond it sounding pretty. But it was still, there's a little bit of doubt occasionally in some of the bridge sections there, a little bit of vulnerability. There was some of the sort of more minorish feel there. But it's not like we were overly committing to the concept of it. We weren't trying to make the actual musical backing too literal. I think the main standout instruments for me for the drum parts there with the similar consistency with the snare grooves, some of the buzz roll and ghost notes, as well as the hi-hat and kick parts there, the chord note accents throughout. Bass, and the keys there, the percussion, the bum 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 bum. That's throughout a lot of it. There were slowdowns on those keys. They weren't the same sort of speed the entire time with the same rhythm there, but there was a consistency with the loudness of those as well as those snares on the kit, and the dun 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 of the strings together in unison and in harmony, accenting the chord notes was cool as well. It's a track where I think that it's very similar to a lot of Hikaru Utada's stuff. Initially, no, that's not fair. There is more range in some tracks than others. I think this was more to establish a vibe and allow Hikaru Utada to do whatever they wanted to over top there. It was great, sort of like back and forth between mains and sides on the vocals. It was commercial grade in regards to the studio production. It was good. The song is also from Neo Genesis Evangelion movie. Thank you, Blue Dinner Box. I appreciate that. It's good to know. I think I actually kind of slightly recognize it from that. It's an interesting choice for a Neo Genesis Evangelion movies. I'm not as familiar though as I need to be with that series though, so yeah, I always got the impression it was a lot darker. But it's all good. So I think that was it's Blue Dinner Box time now, so that's cool. So what has Blue Dinner Box got for us today? Or Dinner Hay, should I say? I've never actually asked, would you prefer if I called you Blue Dinner Box and those... Or which would you prefer? I suppose I'm just going by the Ko-fi name, to be fair. But this is Lovesick Part 5. Thank you to Shinyuda for the previous one. This is Blue Dinner Boxes. It's titled Love, or Dinner Hayes titled Lovesick Part 5. Okay. Nah, I copied that. Surely I copied that, right? Oh, great. Thank you.
Everything is quiet.
Okay. We still want those swing 16 stone, don't we?
Till death do us part, and it did. Come sun like clouds, and it hit my soul. My truth, heavier than imagined. The lit die cast and let on the lives we nursed and the days we cherished as kids. We let it went on by, but when I rewind, your smile is the only thing that comes to mind. Your smile is the only thing that shines. In your last breath, you told me that you had to go.
His voice sounds very different in this one. Is it a different style of production or something like that?
Pained you so, oh I loved you so much, so was it selfish to hold on and cling on to your body that holds a soul that wanted to set free the eagle in the cage, and you became eagerly what I wanted to be. You're the person to leave, I the person to see off another best friend that lands end. I watch grown men moan and women weep as you quietly descended 6 feet deep, but the spirit ascended before wet eyes. A gift from God returned to sender. Though I like pretend that this never happened, I can turn around and see you laughing, but the fact is you could never practice. Game blindsided and in the windshield, and the
Oh,
the
shit.
glass. This too shall pass, but reality bites us not so fast. First you must climb a Calvary of shattered hopes, and then a mountain of prayers and hurt till you reach the peak where you can see the dark abyss below. Then you let me know if you have what it takes for a leap of faith. I had to say hell no, heaven just but not yet, please. Bless the forehead, cold in the bed, or alone on the road with nobody to hold. When the pouring rain is too much to bear, it's a reason to live for a seed that needs care till death do us part, and it did.
What I like about it, boom, 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 we adding an extra lead layer on top of that chorus section. It helps to sort of like separate and instantiate that.
Like clouds and it hit much sun. Your truth heavier than imaginally. Die cast and lead on the lives we nursed and the days we cherished as kids. We let them went on by, but when I rewind, your smile is the only thing that comes to mind. Your smile is the only thing that shines.
Thank you very kindly, my friend. In the world.
The sounds you only remember now. All of them fading away. All of them
Listen.
fading away.
Now I hit the stage in honor of you. How's the other side? I bet it's a splendid view. No more stress for rent or to make ends. Collide in the cocktail sheen with envy. I can hide behind lenses that block the UV. Looking in from the outside, the bowl is murky. The toll for the bridge is rising. Where the man says Storm City Hall is burning. Same old chaos. Gotta shut myself like I'm waiting to take off. On the runway, scoping out the window. The moisture covers the sight though. Telling myself it's just another day in the life of a starving artist. Trying to paint a dream you walk from, chasing the departed. We used to hang by the bank to see who could skip a stone the farthest. What I thought was a stream is now an ocean. No such thing as an extreme to show devotion to your craft, which I didn't know the half. Try to knock down your door and caught the backdraft in the whiplash, all in reverse. Then I finally stood up and said I reserve the right to serve anyone. And on the same note, you deserve the best of the most fun. By the way, I got your letter. You said you were fed up. Well, I second that, and I reckon that you tried, so I don't place the blame that you took the fifth and the first flight out of town into the mist till death do us part, and it did. Come sun like clouds and it hit much sun. Your truth heavier than imaginally. Die cast and lead on the lives we nursed and the days we cherished as kids. We let it went on by, but when I rewind, your smile is the only thing that comes to mind. Your smile is the only thing that shines. Whether a tree lived to see the end of centuries or a random hand picks it instantly. Life is all a miracle for all to see. I must tell you that you live beautifully.
stopping on that 5-minute mark there, just so I can also read messages. This one was originally made for his fan Jeff, who passed away for cancer. They visited Jeff in a hospital in his final days. Nujabes made his part and sent to Shingo 2 after Jeff passed away, but 2 months later, Nujabes also passed away suddenly because of a car accident. Yeah, I noticed that about the yeah. You can't practice. The fact is, you can never practice getting blindsided and eating the windshield. It's terrible. It's awful. I'm really sad to hear that happened. It's too young, right? Too young. But regardless of age, it's a terrible way to go. You know, dying from cancer or getting hit by a car, either way, is just awful. It's a song about that. Lovesick Part 5 featuring Shingo 2. I'm really glad that they still release these even after Nujabes' passing, because not only have people enjoyed the music, but it's also just that it does sort of it showcases the full context of what they were trying to create. It's a situation where, like, sometimes you have people kind of sort of like posthumously like dig up as much stuff as they can from a person's sort of back discography here, but this was stuff they were already sort of working on that they were going to release anyways. It's a great song, for sure. I think that the story again is about passing and how things used to be when they were younger and everything like that, and how things kind of led eventually to where we are now. I think it's a beautiful tribute. Shingo 2's vocals here are wonderful. They did sound a bit different to previous tracks, but I think it's just a change in the way that they produce stuff, and I think that's totally fine there. The quality of the vocal performance itself was fantastic there. It's just really sort of great flow there, spitting in whole lines and then sort of transferring halfway through others. The track at 5 minutes 49 has a bass line, drums, as well as piano line on top. I was thinking it was piano line. I just had to make sure it wasn't piano and not some other sort of like synth there. And there was also an occasional synth or organ line or whatever going on in those chorus sections or extra bits just to sort of like switch things up a little bit. It was a very kind of moody, low-key, lo-fi track there with a lot of sadness in it. It looped in a way which was enjoyable but not super positive, and the minor leanings kind of make sense because we're not celebrating this, we're paying tribute again. I think that the consistency of the drums here with the occasional points where they're not there just for sort of like weight, the bass line resonating with the root notes of the chord progressions on the keys there, bum 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 bum, and there's like this melody that happens occasionally which it sounds cool. It's got a great groove to it and works well with the rhythm and stance put forward by the drums. It's also a song. It also kind of almost sounds like an organ at a funeral, if that makes sense, or in a church. It like sounds like a church organ a little bit, which makes sense considering that we're talking about people having passed away. So they tried not to be too dark with it, but it still carries a lot of weight. The storytelling is incredible and very personable, and overall production quality is tight. No complaints there. Thank you, Blue Dinner Box, for putting that forward. I appreciate it. That is Nujabes. It's been interesting hearing this. Like, there have been lots of twists and turns there. I just also want to give a shout out to the fan and how they made the tribute for them. I think that's really sweet. Really beautiful thing to sort of have a tribute for someone like that. What have we got next? This is one last one from Shin Yudar, I think. Here we go. Gonna do this now. For your request. What is this track here? This is a incredibly different vibe immediately, isn't it? TRF Boys Meet Girl. Yeah, that here. That's a nice way to finish there, I suppose, eh? Kind of uplifting, positive. Everyone looks like they're having a good time. Oh man. Hell, she could dance. They could both dance. Oh, breakdancing, like street dancing kind of stuff? Wow. So like, how many people do they have in this? It's great that the DJ coming in with it as well. And key change, right? Oh, thank you, Shinyida. I appreciate that. So that was kind of a surreal experience there. It was very different to a lot of music I've listened to today. Thank you, Shinyuda, for that. This is a band with dancers, and in addition to the band's basic instrumentalists, there are dancers who are responsible for dancing to each song. So I get the impression from this, Boy Meets Girl, I didn't necessarily get the lyrics behind it. The lyric translation, there were not really subtitles for me to translate from. But I nonetheless appreciated my time with it. It seems like it's a celebration, like it's their anniversary event. So I assume this is like a very popular song with fans. I mean, it's got like 7.4 mil plays, to be fair. a lot of people really enjoying it, right? A lot of people really enjoying it, really having a fun time with it. The group, the main singer, the main lady, that is just really easy to listen to. Captures the staging really well, even with all the other dances and all the other kind of stuff going on in the background there. And I think that there was some really compelling main melodies in the chorus sections, which were catchy and easy to listen along to. Boy Meets Girl, that was sweet. You had the crowd behind that as well. And I think a lot of the power behind it was not only the vocal performance, but also the perky, kind of jumpy keys in the background. We had a sparkle to those, and I enjoyed listening to that. It's cool to have that kind of danciness, kind of like the kind of spiciness on the right hand with those chords on the right hand there. They're kind of chirpy and very fresh sounding. The bass line highlighting the root notes underneath, the drum lines with different sort of like snare fills intermingling with the main sort of chord note groove on the hi-hats, kicks, and snares there. And some interesting sort of like synth leads as well there, which came in and sort of like intermingled with what was going on with the main vocal melodies as well as the keys there. There was a lot of cool stuff and variations there. We'd have little pauses there and bits of drama and stuff. We had a key change later on structurally, which is cool. But typically we went between verses and choruses, allowing ourselves to also have a bit of adjustment and variety with the dance passages there as well. It was more a situation where I think we had the main sort of DJ kind of controlling the desk there, having different instruments come in at which point they're sort of mixing, and it was more like a party vibe and aesthetic more than anything else, So I appreciate as well. There's just a lot of joy behind the performance, if I'm honest. That was the thing here, it's joy. You see how happy these people are. That's just like singing along, having a fantastic time. And I think that's the purpose of it. It's not necessarily to do anything sort of musically revolutionary. It's more to have that sort of party vibe there, get people kind of excited and just pumped in and just, dancing along to it. In that instance, I think they did things incredibly well there. The theme was uplifting and majorish, quite positive sounding. And the track sounded similar for a lot of it, but it was more about allowing, again, the backing dancers and everything like that to sort of have their time with it as well. So that was a live component of it. Commercial studio recording, mixing, mastering was commercial grade again, nice and tight. Ultimately, really satisfying. And I mean, effectively, this is my it's my review of this track from the DRF Boy Meets Girl. Thank you, Shinyida, for that request. So I feel like this has been a quieter day, and that's okay. It was good to have some requests. Thank you to who do we have requests from today? We have requests from Shinyida, Dinnerhey, as well as Andrea. So thank you for those. I also appreciate the feedback I have from music along the way from people. It was good to have that, because the last thing you want is to not listen to people when you're unsure of what to do with a YouTube channel. I'm now going to close the requests, subshredders. Requests are now closed for today. Thanks for your song choices. For the ones we did. Yeah, thanks for the ones we did today. I've just closed the commissions there. I think it's probably because the queue has gotten to 0 as well. It's conclusion time. I think that I will try to come next time a bit more awake. And I will try and be a little bit kind of more grounded. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic week. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. We'll probably have a live stream on Saturday. Yeah, well, we will. We usually do anyways. And I guess, I'll see your shredders then. Spider hands out. 3, 2,